Show at Going2 Live. We've got our week 3 episode. I'm joined here today with Gerson, Fantasy GDFS. He'll be doing our DFS stuff off the bat. We've also got Jamie Perog here and Dr. F. Goods PPR. They'll be here for the start-sit portion, but jumping in as well with the DFS stuff. Before we get into anything else, I want to cover some quick news aspects. Starting off with J.K. Dobbins and David Bakhtiari. Those two are going to make their debut for the first time this year. They've both been cleared medically. Also, we have Van Jefferson and Sammy Watkins. They were both designated for the IR. And then further news, we have 3 different wide receivers as of now who are either doubtful or not playing with Wan'Dale Robinson, Kadarius Toney, and Jacoby Myers. There's a few other guys that we're still waiting the official status of, and we'll keep you updated. But other than that, Gerson, what do you got for us with the DFS stuff this week?
Good morning, y'all guys too. I'm doing pretty good. Just DFS, man. It's gonna be an insane week for GPP. So for tournament, this is definitely the best tournament slate this whole year. I know it's been 2 weeks, but it's gonna be awesome this weekend. I mean, we have a lot of games we want to target, so let's jump into the three quarterbacks I'm looking at right now. Number 1 is Josh Allen, 8,200. We know who Josh Allen is. We know what he does. I think he's out for he wants an MVP. He basically wants that Super Bowl, you know. But 8,200 is high price. But I'm building my roster with Josh Allen, with Gabe Davis, with Stephon Diggs, Isaiah McKenzie. I'm mixing it up with Knox too. High scoring game. We saw and I don't mean to tap myself on the back, but last week I said Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami game was gonna go over, it's gonna smash. It was the Ravens and Miami game, and they killed it. I have a feeling this could be this week's game. So give me Josh Allen. The other thing is, I know why people will probably well, that's not the defense he's facing, but the Bills defense is hurting. They're starting a secondary that only 3 guys have started 1 game in the NFL. That's quite a difference, you know. That has to do a lot, and maybe Tua will be able to match Josh Allen. It'd be hard, but we saw last week it was entertaining. Kirk Cousins, my second one. Primetime game, don't play Kirk Cousins. Normal game, you're good to go. You know, 6,700 game environment. I love it. It's the Lions versus the Vikings, one of the highest paced games. Stack him with Jefferson, Thielen, or Irv Smith Jr. Vegas loves that game too. I'm going over both on Kirk Cousins this week. I think he's going to have a bounce back game. Hopefully people don't like him because of the prime time, but I never pay attention to that kind of stuff. I just play my plays, do my projections and whatnot. What's up? Wait, why did Jetty say he can't hear?
He's in a car full of people.
He's in a car. He's in a car. Yeah.
They couldn't hear me. I'm like, dude, no, I thought I was deaf, man. So Tua Tagovailoa is my third quarterback. He's my value quarterback. Again, I'm going back to that Bills versus Miami game. I think this game's going to be so much fun to watch, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's in the red zone quite a bit, man. At 6,100 quarterback stack, Jalen Waddle and what's his name? Tyreek Hill. They went off last week. I mean, I don't expect the way they went off last week, but you never know, man. With those 2 guys, they're just so talented. They're so fast, and I just talked about the secondary, right? So I'm targeting that secondary in high Vegas total. It's Tua time, man. I'm telling you guys, I get the criticism of Tua, and I sent you guys a little Tua bandwagon, you know. You can apologize now, you know. But I know some people hate him, but I don't hate him. I think he's good. Just give him time. Let's move on to running backs now. Running backs, oh man, it's the hardest position because you want to pay up, but you can't because you can't construct a proper roster because there's so many good wide receiver plays. And I'll mention those guys, but the guys that I'm going for, the elite, it's not Jonathan Taylor. It's not Christian McCaffrey. They're overpriced right now. And then just because I said that, now they're going to go off for 50 points. Watch. No, I mean, I love Jonathan.
Right. Until he gets used, though, like he should be getting used, there's no point in paying that kind of price. It's a premium for JT when he's being used like Naheem Hines. And that's not fair if you're going to spend that kind of price.
Yeah. And TMC, too. I mean, like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing down there. I get Baker wants to sling it and wants to be Baker, but it's not so much just on Baker. It's the coaching, man. The coaching, like, they need to get their head out of their ass and be like, hey, we got a freaking running back that can catch, and he's, like, you know, the best player in the backfield and our best player on our team. Like, let's use him. 30 carries, give him 15 targets. Who cares? Just use him. He's going to make a difference. But right now, I'm not targeting him. I'm targeting Joe Mixon, man. Joe Mixon is in a great matchup against the New York Jets. The New York Jets are one of the most horrendous run defense in the league. But I like what the overall usage he's getting. I mean, there's no one coming in and touching his stuff, man. Like, and he's getting passing game work. And I think in this game, it's going to be sneaky, man. I don't think there's no way the Bengals are starting 0-3. I can't see that. But you never know. This is the NFL. Give me Joe Mixon, 7,600. I love the matchup. I love the opportunity. I love the usage. I'm going with him. But the guy that I'm going to have overexposed on this top tier, that's why I had to put 2 elite tier there. Because I didn't want to leave out Dalvin Cook, man. Dalvin Cook.
Quick question for you, Gerson, in regards to the running backs this week. Rand was asking, how are you handling exposure with chalky RBs like Fournette and Monty? What are you doing there?
I'm playing them, man. They're my highest exposed. If you go to my I forgot to post that. Let me find the YouTube. It's on my Twitter. If you go to my Twitter, it's pinned on there. But let me put it in the chat right here real quick.
I think an important thing to remember with some of these running backs is 2 weeks is too small of a sample size to really know one way or the other. And I mean, we've seen some very fluky starts for some good teams like the Bengals. We've seen some very even worse starts than we expected fantasy-wise for bad teams like the Bears. And I mean, I still think Monty is a value start. But no, let's hear more what you got with these running backs, Gerson.
No, I'm playing a lot of Monty. I'm overexposed on him right now. For 150 rosters, I have him in 31 of my rosters, so that's 20% of my allocation to my 150. I love Dameon Pierce. I have him in 20%. Then I have Miles Sanders, which is another guy that's going to be a value. But if you look at my spreadsheet that I posted right there, it'll tell you all my plays. If you go to the exposure on the third tab, the player exposure 150. But then I tell you the players that I'm going to, like, if they're in bold, that's basically the guys that I'm going to have, I'm going to be overweight on, you know. But so that covers that question. But, like, it's just going to lead on to the next section. We'll play Dalvin Cook, great pace, great price, great game environment, has everything going, bounce back situation right now, coach speak and everything. But my middle tier is Leonard Fournette, Uncle Lenny, Sunday Night Lenny, Super Bowl Lenny. Whatever he wants to call himself, you know. 6,500. He has a solid matchup. Green Bay is one of the worst run defense I think we've seen in the last 2 weeks. They can't tackle worth shit. Apparently, they just bounce off the players. And I don't know if it's so much just like that they want to run the ball in Green Bay, but I just think people are smart. The coaches are smart. They'd rather keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, run the ball on them, run the clock out, and make sure he doesn't score. You know, don't give him a chance at all. But I love Leonard Fournette in this game. I'm going to have quite a bit of him. David Montgomery, I just mentioned him. Great opportunity, matchup, price. Price is a good value. He's getting usage. I feel like Montgomery is one of the most hated players for fantasy football. But the guy, he performs, you know. Every single time he gets the workload, he performs. I mean, it's just, to me, it's just about getting a workload, and he's going to get it. It's against Houston. I see great price. I'm going to play him quite a bit. After that, I have the wide receiver section. So,
real quick, Gerson. Jamie and Dr. F. What are your guys' thoughts on those running backs? Why don't you hear you guys' opinion real quick?
Yeah, I got a lot of Fournette in my cash games, and then I actually put a lineup together using Gerson's cheat sheet, and I'm using Sanders and definitely leaving Cook in there. Cook's going to smash this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm all about Monty and Dameon Pierce this week also. I feel like Dameon Pierce, Lovie Smith is loving some Dameon Pierce, so I'm all about that too. And Monty has a juicy matchup also, so I'm all about them too.
And to follow in along that, I like Monty a lot in any format, whether it's DFS or anything else, especially after what I saw last week. I mean, the Bears were getting killed at one point, and they were still just feeding Monty. It's an interesting choice when you're down by multiple possessions, but if you have Monty, especially in DFS, that's what you want to see. So if the Bears are going to continue to do that, that's great value there, because then regardless of the score, he's getting a workload. But Gerson,
Dameon
what
Pierce,
do you got for us? Or go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to know, Dameon Pierce is going for what in DFS?
5,000. Very cheap.
Yeah?
Cheap.
Yeah.
Bro,
That's a
steal.
good for. And Gerson, what do you got for us at wide receiver position then?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've talked about this game quite a bit already, but I'm going to keep talking about it. Justin Jefferson is the elite guy today.
Mhm.
I kind of saw it coming too. I bet an underdog with Justin Jefferson on Monday. It worked out. Jerry Slade is a good cornerback, but in this matchup, there ain't going to be no one that can cover him. Detroit has allowed I think the most points per game during the season so far. Not going to change either. They're at home, and Justin Jefferson dominates at home. Justin Jefferson, to me, I think he's very competitive, obviously, but he loves to narrative. He's gonna hear that, oh, Darius Slay shut his ass down, Well, he's gonna come back, and I mean, I wish the coach can be open-minded and actually get Thielen and other people more involved. That way it opens up Jefferson, That's the problem that was going on in that Eagles game. But the last 3 games, first, the Detroit Lions, to give you an idea, he had 38 points week 13, 22 points week 5, and 25 points in week 17 in 2020. I mean, 133 yards, 124, 182. He's smashing. And he's going to smash even in this offense. Way better offense now. Like, they run better. Give me Justin Jefferson. He is expensive, 9,300. So that's why we're saying these wide receivers that I'm mentioning, like, they're going to be expensive. You're going to have to pay up. And in that case, I want to play Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams. I have to shout them out. But I think the middle tier, man, there's so many good plays. And I think that's where I'm gonna die on. I'm not gonna die, but that's where I'm living at. Give me Tyreek Hill, man. He never left. He was always there. People just kind of like, oh, Patrick Mahomes not his quarterback no more. I don't. Dude, Tyreek Hill was so much fun to watch, and he's the same way, man. Like, it ain't changing. I like to call him Tyreek Hill. We saw what he did last week. 7,600 shootout, great cornerback versus wide receiver matchup. Obviously, he's playing a very weak secondary right now. Give me Hill at 7,600. That is my pivot off Stephon Diggs, because Stephon Diggs is he's amazing, but obviously, if I'm gonna have Tyreek Hill, it's likely that I'm gonna have Stephon Diggs. So, like, if you're doing a non-stack with Tua, or if you're doing different quarterbacks besides Tua and Allen, and you want to pivot off Diggs, go to Tyreek. I mean, he'll be owned, but not as owned as Diggs. I expect Diggs to be the highest owned wide receiver. He's 7,700, but I love Diggs.
And I guess this is a question for all 3 of you then. Are you guys anticipating high-scoring games in both Minnesota versus Detroit and then also in Buffalo and Miami? Are you expecting those 2 games to be, just shootouts?
I think everybody's expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
But is it going to happen?
Probably.
I think so as well. I'll get into my reasons why later in the show, but continue, Gerson.
I think those 2 games are great games to target, but there is one game that's kind of on my radar I think I would have smashed the over on the over-under. It would have been Cincinnati New York Jets. I think this game, 44.5, is too low. I think the Jets can actually compete on offense, and I wouldn't be shocked if this game became one of those GPP games. And I want to mention this guy. I didn't mention him, and I told the guys in my chat that I would. So the quarterback that I don't have on the spreadsheet right here, but I do have on my own spreadsheet, the guy that I'm going to be a little bit more overweight than the field, is Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. So obviously, speaking of Joe Burrow, make sure you have Chase, Higgins, bring it back with Elijah Moore or what's his name, Garrett Wilson. But Tyreek Hill, now this is a little weird, right? I have Chris Olave as my value in my value tier. Now, Chris Olave, like, he hasn't shown up. Like, he's there, but when I say show up, I want that 15, 20-point game, for 4,500. He's 4,500. He has the most air yards in the NFL by a mile, too. It's like 371, I believe, or 341. All he needs is that one catch, like 80-yard touchdown, You get that, he's smashing value. A guy that opened up the other day for me, I'm not being a Raiders fan. It's just me playing my guys. Matt Collins, man, he's 3,300. You're going to want to play Matt Collins quite a bit. That's how you're going to open up a lot of value, and that's going to give you opportunity. Renfro is out, target opportunity, good value, and I think Derek Carr is going to bounce back, and they're going to want to keep Derrick Henry off the field, but the way they do that is because Jacob, he's still ill. I think they're just going to run the score up. I think Tennessee's a bad team this year. I don't think they're good at all.
With that in mind, with what you were talking about with the Las Vegas game, are you looking at someone like Darren Waller for tight ends this week?
Yes, but limited exposure because it's hard to pay for those kind of tight ends like Kelsey, Waller, and Andrew. Because you're paying up for wide receivers. That's the model this week. You're paying up for all those wide receivers. Those wide receivers are in a smash spot. And if Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs go off for 35 points and you don't have them, you're fucked. Like, you're screwed. Like, you're going to be falling behind. And the only way you're going to pay for those guys is you save at running back, you save at tight end. But I don't mind Waller. I mean, I don't think he's super expensive. I don't know. I don't really have much. I don't have any Waller, actually, in my 150. Let me check how much Waller is.
So, Gerson, who are you? You said Waller's 5,800?
Yeah, 5,800. So, a tight end, is that what your question is? Who do I have a tight end?
Yeah, sorry, I just muted real quick for the background noise. But, yeah, who are you looking at for tight end?
No, you're good. Everybody brace yourself. Don't spit your beer. Don't spit your water. Don't go to your fantasy. Don't go to your fantasy team.
Go ahead, say it.
This guy has legit not done shit this year. But what Ramsey? You know what Ramsey shit? Kyle Pitts.
Yep.
I love it. He's 4,800. He's 4,800. Great price, great DPP. And everybody always says, what have you done for me lately? I always listen to that model sometimes because I sometimes think about what have you done for me lately? Maybe his ownership will be lower than other times, You're not going to get Kyle Pitt at 4,800 the rest of the season if he has a big game this week. And Jamal Adams is out. And even if he was in, I would have loved it even more because Jamal Adams can't cover worse shit. I mean, he's terrible at coverage. But give me Kyle Pitt. I'm going to be – I think right now I have like 20% Kyle Pitt, if I'm correct.
I like Kyle Pitts a lot for the play this week at tight end. I think Cole Kmet is another one that I haven't given up on after 2 weeks where, the stock keeps lowering and lowering, and I'm sure the price keeps going down, but the expectations are higher. And especially with someone like Kyle Pitts, there's no question about the talent, the physical traits he has. It's just a matter of getting the targets so he can actually score. But who else you got?
So on that, the thing is, to me, it's passing volume. Cole Kmet hasn't seen passing volume. I mean, Dak Prescott has more passing attempts than Justin Fields does the whole season. You know what I mean? So, like, stuff like that, I always look at passing volume. But I love Cole Kmet. I still have him, like, on fantasy football teams. I'm not dropping him, But Kyle Pitt, Irv Smith Jr., man, this guy's going to be one of the highest owned players, one of the highest owned tight ends. Great matchup, great price. Again, I'm going back to that the Lions game, man. There's a reason why I keep talking about this game in the Miami and what's their name? Bills game. But give me Irv Smith Jr. Great price. Gonna get targeted. Great game environment. Irv Smith Jr. Man, like he could have had a bigger game on Monday if he didn't drop that touchdown, man. That was critical for them too. He had 14 points, 8 target, 5 receptions, 36 yards, and a touchdown. But I love this environment. I'm gonna go right back to the well with Irv Smith Jr. He's coming in at 10% ownership. So I'm not the only one that loves him, obviously. So give me Irv Smith Jr. 3,100 cheap. I mentioned this guy on the Friday show. Isaiah Likely, I'm going to be playing him. It looks like he's part of the offense. He's not just like hey, go rest with Mark, go rotate Mark Andrews for a couple breathers. No, he's there. They're running double tight end. He's running routes with Andrew, and Likely is a really good athlete too. He's fast. He can move, and he got 5 targets, 4 receptions, 43 yards last week. I mean, the week before that, he got 4 targets, too. He just didn't do anything with them. He's getting targeted. That's what I want. 2,800, very cheap. Juwan Johnson, another guy I want to mention, 2,900. He's getting targeted, too. But those are my tight ends, man. I'm going very heavy on Irv Smith Jr., Likely, and obviously Goddard, too. But you just look at my spreadsheet, you'll see my exposure, too.
Jamie, Ben, who are you guys? Who are you guys liking for tight ends?
I'm loving Pitts this week. I got him in my top 4, 5, 6. I keep flip flopping them right around there. But he in the first 2 games he mirrored what Njoku did with the 89% of snaps, targets run. He just wasn't getting the targets, and you saw what Njoku did on Thursday with those catches. Got a touchdown. I think Pitts is going to outperform Njoku this week.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben?
Pitts and Irv Smith I like. I actually have a question about Likely because I actually had a conversation with one of my friends. Who do you think is the number 3 on the Ravens? Is it Likely or Duvernay? Because in targets wise, you see that Likely is getting more targets, but Duvernay is doing more.
I would say, I mean, it's all relative, I guess, because I think Likely's targets are more close range. You know, those shorter intermediate routes, while Duvernay's get more of those long shots. And it seems like Duvernay is being utilized more in the red zone, which surprises me because Likely's such a big body guy. But I mean, I think it's 2A, 2B. I don't really see much of a difference. What about you, Gerson?
I think it's going to be the running back when Dobbin or what's his name, Gus Edwards come back. They were catching passes out of the back. I know Lamar doesn't throw a lot, but it's not heavy throwing offense. I mean, they throw the ball when they need to, and they had to last week. Usually they just run the ball down your throat. And when they get Dobbin, I'm glad he's back because I've been relying on Dobbin for a long time. I haven't counted out Dobbin. I'm still riding on him. I know injuries are part of the game. You have to live with it, in dynasty football, redraft, and all that. But it's just, to me, Duvernay is awesome. I think he's that guy that can get you 1 touchdown, 80 yards, But Andrew.
And who you got for defenses, Gerson? Who you got in there?
Defense is very, very straightforward this week. And Eagles defense, man, against Carson Wentz, 2,900. Carson Wentz revenge game, right? That shit ain't happening, dude. That shit ain't happening, bro. What's gonna happen? They're gonna smash him, dude. They're gonna put pressure on him. One of the biggest difference offensive line, defensive line pressure rate. 2,900, great matchup. Even if they score, they're gonna force turnovers and interception. If I could put it a over under on Prize Pick, and I don't know if it's there, but they either do 0.5 interception for Carson Wentz. I would smash that. I don't know if it's there though, but I would smash it.
And Ben, I know your thoughts on that game specifically and the Washington defense. I'll come to you later in the show with that because I know you had a different subject on that. But Gerson, continue, please.
The Ravens defense. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm targeting the Patriots every single time, dude. I think that offense is horrendous. I know they did okay against the Steelers, but they only scored 17 points. It's not like they scored 21, 28 points, 30 points, And it was against the Steelers without J.J. Watt, So give me the Ravens defense. The Panthers defense at 2,600 is the defense I'm targeting. It's not so much about like the potential is more for the price, but it's against Jameis Winston, man. What if Jameis Winston vertebrae, whatever he had, like actually fucking fucked up? Like, do you guys even know who the backup quarterback is?
Ian Book, maybe.
Yeah.
It can't be Taysom Hill because he's out.
Yeah. So is Taysom Hill out?
Or is
they just announced that.
Is Andy Dalton on that team still?
Oh, is Taysom Hill out? I like Juwan Johnson more now.
Dalton is the backup there.
All right.
Okay,
so
either way, whoever it is, they suck. So, and then the Panthers defense. So the Eagles, Ravens, and Panthers defense are my defense this week.
No, I like it. You got anything else for us, Gerson, before we let you go set all your lineups, or you already all done with those?
No, I'm gonna make some adjustment. Let me give you guys a little tip of this slate. This is how I always like to build a story for my roster, right? Quarterback, play any of those quarterback I mentioned. After that, you stack them with your stack. Any of those quarterback I mentioned, all their stacks are expensive. So you got to find that value running back, or you got to find a running back that you like. All the running backs I have in bold on my spreadsheet allow you to build that kind of roster construction. Tight end, I'm paying down. Not paying up for Waller, not paying up for Andrews. I'm paying down because that's the only way I'm going to fit my mid-tier wide receiver. Defense, if you notice all my defense, they're all cheap. But I'm just doing that. I'm targeting that Buffalo game, Miami, Lions, and Vikings game. That game, those two games are going to be so much fun to watch today. The sneaky game that I think that can shoot out, like I said, it's the Jets and Bengals, and I wouldn't be shocked. I'm going to have Joe Burrow, but if you can't risk it for the biscuit, I don't know what you're doing in DFS, man. You just gotta sometimes go for it. But, Joe Burrow is not going 0-3, man.
I'll put it. I'm surprised enough they're 0-2. It's a do not touch for me, but I mean, risk it for the biscuit. That's probably why I don't play DFS, right? No. But with that in mind, I've got a quick ad read for us, and then we'll jump into the start sit portion. Gerson, would you like to stay with us today, or are you heading on out?
I gotta head out, but thanks for having me. I'll be in the comment section though. Don't worry. I always listen to you guys in the background. Take care, man. Guys.
We would be upset if you didn't.
All right, Gerson. See you later.
Good luck.
See you.
Appreciate it. All right. Before we dive into anything else, No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. Playing pick'em style contests versus other people for the shot at winning $150K or more. Download the app, use our promo code GF2, and get a deposit match up to $25. Choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for correct picks, and climb the leaderboard for your shot to win big money every day. You can also test your skills versus the house and 20 times your entry if you hit all your picks. Bet on up to 5 player prop over-unders or individual player matchups across every major sports league, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. Again, our promo code is GF2. Use it at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app on the App Store to get a first deposit match up to $25. Make sure to check out No House Advantage today and experience daily fantasy sports redefined, because it's not just how you play, but also where you play. And with that in mind, we've got another person joining us. Lovely Courtney is here with us too. Thank you for joining us today, Courtney. We're glad to have you.
Whoop, whoop. Can you hear me?
How are you? Yes, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Awesome.
We're having fun. So first off, I mean, we'll just jump right into the start sits first and foremost. And for anyone in the chat, if you guys have any questions for start sits, feel free to put them in and we'll gladly address those for you. But so with this in mind, Courtney, your first start sit, you mentioned starting Fournette. You want to elaborate on that for us?
Well, come on. We've all heard it. I mean, who else is Tom Brady going to go to, right? I mean, everyone's out there, and his offensive line is banged up. So I think Fournette gets a hefty carry load today. I really, really do. I think it's a great play. But yeah, I mean, what? You got Cole Beasley? I mean, that's who he's throwing to, right? I mean, Julio Jones might go in there, but he won't play all, right? He was not going to play all the offensive snaps. And you've got Mike Evans out. You've got Godwin out. I don't know how much they trust Rashid White yet, right? Though I think he's a sneaky stash for sure. But yeah, I think Fournette gets a lot of carries today. I think he sees the goal line, and I think it's a great play. I've got him starting.
I like it. No, it makes sense. Before I go any further, though, Ben, what are your thoughts on Fournette?
Yeah, I'm avoiding Tom Brady this week, and I'm all about Fournette. I mean, like she said, who is there to throw to? You got Cole Beasley, who's probably not even going to get the reps that I think he's going to get. So, yeah, I'm going Fournette.
And Jamie, how about
Definitely.
you?
Like I even put prop bets on him, taking the over on his receiving yards, over on his passing yards, over on receptions, everything.
Hey,
See,
Jamie,
go ahead.
What's up?
what'd you get on his yardage? Because I'm in Nevada, so I play a lot of bets, and I got over 70 yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was 70 and a half.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, maybe I'm just a scarred Packer fan, but there's a guy named Scotty Miller that scares me more than anything, but I'll blame Kevin King for all those blown coverages in that championship game. So before we dive into the next start sit, we do have Nina Adkins asking over here about, so we've got a super flex, Matt Ryan or Mac Jones Edmonds.
No.
Got a whole bunch of
Yeah,
options.
it's three different ones.
Yeah.
I know her. She holds a special place in my heart. So it's going to be Superflex, Matt Ryan, or Mac Jones. And I don't want to give it a wrong answer, so you guys go ahead.
I'll go last before we dive into the second part of it. Ben, what do you got for us?
Honestly, Matt Ryan scares me a little bit, but I feel like I would definitely go Matt Ryan here against the Chiefs. I
Good
feel
matchup.
like Michael Pittman's back, I think, right? And I feel like he can have a game. Mac Jones. I mean, the only way I see the Patriots going into the red zone is Jacoby Myers gets like a 50-yard touchdown or 50-yard in the red zone. Yeah, and he's out. So it's like, I don't know. I would go Matt Ryan right there for that.
What about you, Courtney?
I completely agree with you. I think that they paid Matt Ryan to come do a job, right? And I mean, I know he's 34, but I know that he can be successful. He's a decent quarterback, right? And with Michael Pittman back, I think that he's the safer play over Mac Jones. I don't like either one of them, but if I had to go, it's going to be, right? The Chiefs are going to score. And who else what are they going to do? They're going to sit back on their heels? No, Matt Ryan's going to have to produce to try to win this game and not go 0-2. I mean, I'm sorry, 0-3. So yeah, I'd go with Matt Ryan too.
And Jamie, what were your thoughts?
I just like Matt Ryan's matchup better, so I'm going to go off that and just play him. Plus with Michael Pittman back. And then Myers is out, so I don't trust the receivers over in New England at all.
No, I agree. I anticipated. Sorry for the background noise. It's not stopping. All right, there we go. But no, I don't love either one of them. I mean, Mac Jones doesn't really have a lot of options. The offense should run through JT, but it never does. So I'd probably lean Matt Ryan there. But in regards to the second part, it was Edmonds, Pollard, Garrett Wilson.
Yep, start one.
Okay, I'll quickly, on my down period before this next background noise period, I'll give mine, and then we'll jump over to you, Courtney, and then Ben, and then Jamie. But so Edmonds, Pollard, Garrett Wilson. I'm gonna go with Garrett Wilson there. I liked what I saw last week, and I think I'm scared to touch that game for betting or DFS because of what the Jets defense has shown us through 2 weeks. But on top of that, Garrett Wilson's just looked like a stud. So I think that's probably my safest floor guy. Obviously, running backs, they should have the safer floor, but it's tough there. What are your thoughts, Courtney?
Exactly the same. I really liked seeing him last week come out and get his first NFL touchdown. He seems to have some rapport with Flacco there. But I also really like Elijah Moore this week because, again, the Bengals aren't going to lose another game, right? I mean, they can't lose another game. So I know, right? I mean, can they? I don't know what's happening here. But the Jets looked really good last week. I mean, they came back and they fought hard as a team. And I could see both. I could see Garrett Wilson getting a little bit more covered and Elijah Moore getting more targets. But both of them, I think, are safe plays. And if I was too, on the fence about Garrett Wilson, I'd play Pollard, because I don't have any faith right now in the backfield in the Dolphins, because I just think they're going running back by committee. And who are they going to start this week, right? So it would definitely be Garrett Wilson and then Pollard. I wouldn't go Edmonds at all, which is really sad because I have Edmonds in a lot of places.
Same here.
Ben, what about you?
Yeah, I'm personally going to avoid Edmonds this week. I know I was high on him last week, but I don't know what happened. I just feel like they want to use Mozart more now too. So I'm gonna avoid Edmonds. Now it's between Pollard and Wilson for me. And I know you guys like Wilson, but because I'm a Cowboys fan, I got to flip the switch, and I'm going to take Pollard. 19.8 fantasy points in PPR last week. He's getting the targets. He's getting a fair share, and overall, he looks like the better running back. And he's going against the Giants. I mean, I know Thibodeau is going to be playing, but I feel like Pollard can definitely get you some PPR points there too, possibly a touchdown also. So I think I'm going to squeeze Pollard in. I mean, come on, it's the Jets.
No, Jamie, I mean, would you like to talk to us at all about the Browns-Jets game last week as part of this question?
Yeah, see, I'm a huge Garrett Wilson fan coming out of Ohio State, and when he got that first touchdown, I actually got excited. Like, I wasn't mad at all because the Browns got scored on. No, I like Garrett Wilson. I was happy, and then even the last one, it did end the game, but I was proud of him. He did good. I'm glad to see him do that. So for this one, it's between Pollard and Garrett Wilson for me. I can see Pollard getting more receptions with Schultz up in the air, the two receivers coming back to their first game, but I'm still gonna stick with Garrett Wilson in this game.
No, I figure. I mean, you're probably numb to the pain at this point too with the
so 20 years.
That's reasonable. Yeah, and then in regards to the final portion of this, before we dive into the next one, we've got pick one or start one. Judy, Dotson, Burks, Nico Collins, or Mooney. Let's start with you, Ben. What are you thinking there?
Oh, man. I want to say Judy. I want to so bad. No. It's just like it's the first name that pops off. And I feel like week 2 is too early to give up. I would go Judy, but right now, I like Dotson. I feel like he is just giving you so much opportunity to make fantasy points, and he's heavily targeted in the red zone. So I think I'm going to go Dotson this week. And by the way, Mooney, I want to proudly say that I own Mooney in every league I have right now because people gave up on him so freaking much. They all dropped him, and I'm loving it because he is going to produce sometime in this year. I mean, if you look, I actually have a cool stack that I looked at, especially with wide receivers. Let me see real quick. Sorry. Like Devontae Adams, week 2 was wide receiver 31. Justin Jefferson, week 2, was wide receiver 28. Stephon Diggs, 29. Mike Evans, 26. Like these guys, they didn't produce that well, week 2, week 3. And then they all of a sudden came out of nowhere. So I expect Darnell Mooney to do something, during the season, but not this week.
I like it. And then, Jamie, what are you thinking there?
Right now it's between Dotson and Burks. I think Burks is going to have a breakout game eventually. It's going to be huge. But start all your Washington players. So go Dotson. If Mooney scores 20 points on your bench, I'm not going to be mad I didn't start him. Just go
Courtney,
Dotson.
What are you thinking?
I feel like we're all thinking the exact same thing. Look, I'm giving up on Jerry Jeudy. I do not trust him. I do not like him. I loved him in college, but I just don't know. I can't get on board with him. He has failed me too many times. And I love Jahan Dotson. I grabbed him up so many places because he is a firecracker and he has really good rapport so far with Wentz, right? And even though you've got McLaurin there and even though you've got Samuels there, yes, I would have to go Dotson. And I agree with you that Mooney's going to go off sometime, but it's killing me. It's painful. It's painful. It's painful. So, no, I'm not touching Mooney this week. Mm-mm.
I'm throwing Mooney right in there. That's my pick. I'm not taking out. I think there's enough things in place where, the Bears are trying to figure things out. And I feel as if Mooney is an easy scapegoat right now in the fantasy realm, But, long term, I haven't given up. And in the short term, I haven't given up. The Bears have just been completely disorganized in regards to how they're distributing the ball. I do think it's a run-first offense, but at some point, Mooney, Komet, some of those guys have to be utilized. Like the fact that both of them combined, I think they combined gave me 1.8 fantasy points in a league last week. That's wild. I think the bar is so low that they can only, overreach or overextend those expectations. So I think, it's a dangerous play, but if you were high on Mooney going into the year, I probably wouldn't take him out quite yet. And I would probably say the same with Judy. I've never been the highest on him coming into this year, but if you took him at that higher point, I probably wouldn't be slotting him out of my starting lineup quite yet, just because I want to have a few week sample size before I really just am out on that guy. If it's through week 4, Judy and Mooney have still done nothing, then I'm out. That I've seen enough where, hey, they can be on my bench, and if it's a bye week fill-in or for an injury, at that point I'll address it.
Yeah,
you want to drop it. You want to
Wait,
drop
what's
him
up?
though, right?
I was gonna say right now you wouldn't want to start Mooney being with that injury with his rib, because one hit they'll take him out of the game again.
Yeah, but I don't even think he'll get thrown. I think he'll be more of like a
Decoy.
I think it'll be Montgomery, and then I'm just hoping for the deep ball or the red zone target type of thing. He's the only valuable threat in the passing game, and that's where defenses are going to plan around him. And if he can sneak away for one deep ball, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. So if you don't want to play the high risk, high reward of Mooney, I would go with, I'd probably go Dotson there. Yeah. So, yeah, if you want the safe floor, do Dotson. But if you want to be risky, you can follow me with Mooney and suffer with me as well if it happens again. With that in mind, we've got another one. We've got Jeremy over here. He's saying flex one, London, Bateman, or Lamb. I like those are much better options for the one spot. So, I like picking between those guys more. Jamie, let's go to you first. What are you thinking between those three?
Well, I got Bateman and Lamb pretty close in the rankings. London a little bit farther down. London's more of a wide receiver 3 this week for me. Bateman and Lamb are number 2s. Actually, I got Bateman and Lamb like right back to back. So I just don't trust the Cowboys right now with Cooper Rush. I know Cooper Rush likes to sling the ball down the field. So take that off. I'm gonna go Bateman. Bateman can smash. He's the number 1 target besides Andrews, but Andrews has a tough matchup this week. So I'd go Bateman.
And Courtney, what about you?
See, I would go Bateman too, just because I love Bateman. Like I stuck with him. He was on every one of my rosters last year, and I never played him. And I kept, he's gonna have a breakout. Oh, he's a rookie, gonna have a breakout. Never did. But gosh, I love him, and I have him all over the place again. And he has been beautiful thus far. And again, they're playing the Patriots, and they lost to the Dolphins last week, right? In that fourth quarter, incredible comeback. And so I think that they're going to be out for blood again this week, right? And so I perceive Bateman getting a lot of targets. But I love London this week too. I really do. I actually think that Mariota is going to have a great game. And I think that this is going to be Kyle Pitts' game. I have him. I put money last night on 4.5 receptions. That's all it was, 4.5 receptions. I get it. He's only had like 20 yards in the first 2 games, but I still think that Pitts and London are going to have good games today. I really, really do. So I would go Bateman to be safe. But again, if you want to be risky like Zach, I might throw London in there.
And Ben, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop on board with Bateman. I feel like he wants a comeback game for sure. After the Dolphins, London, I am big on Mariota this week. I think he's gonna go off. I think London is possibly gonna go off too. But as of right now, Bateman and Lamb. I don't know what it is. Is it just me, or is when a second team quarterback comes in, he always finds the second team wide receiver to throw to? Is that just me, or do you guys see that too? Noah Brown went off.
Noah Brown's been crushing it.
Dude, I don't know, man. Lamb scares me. I mean, I'm sure he'll get some targets, but I like Bateman and London over Lamb this week. Let's go Noah Brown.
I'm going to go Bateman. I'll take Bateman as the safe bet there. I mean, I do see upside in London. Lamb is a scary one, but yeah, I got to go with Bateman. It just seems like the safest one, and I see plenty of upside there as well. It's not just the floor. So I'd be going with Bateman. And in regards to some of the start sits, we also had Jamie, you had one. It was Tyler Boyd, Devin Duvernay, or Tony Pollard. I'm assuming that's for a flex spot.
Yeah, I think it's a start 9. So for my last flex, I'm leaning more towards Boyd just to get those 6-7 targets plus good matchup. I think all 3 of those receivers are going to get theirs, plus even the tight end. Burrow has great matchup, but it was between him and Pollard. I'm sitting Duvernay no matter what. Just with the increase of targets that Pollard can get, I was debating him. So what do you guys think?
Ben, go ahead. You can go first.
Yeah, I got to stick with Pollard again. I mean, Tyler Boyd, he'll definitely get his targets. It's just how the game plan is going to go with that game. Is it going to be a high-scoring game? Is it going to be a low-scoring game? Devin Duvernay is like a hit or miss. He can get a touchdown for you, special teams, or possibly get a long shot touchdown for you, but he only get like 2 or 3 targets. So I'm going to go with Tony Pollard. Like I said, 19.8 fantasy points in PPR last week.
I'll save mine. Courtney, give us what you're thinking.
I kind of agree. I kind of think you got to go with Pollard here. Though I actually I know, right? I actually do. I think you have to go with Pollard here.
All right.
Give me Duvernay. That's all I have to say.
Devil's advocate, Zach. I love it.
I've been high on Duvernay all season, just relative to where he's at. I mean, the Giants defense somewhat concerns me. I do think the Giants will be the team winning that game. I expect it to be fairly low scoring though. I'm looking at New England though, and I haven't seen pretty much anything I'm impressed by. I think they're one of those bottom tier teams. I think we got distracted by some upside we weren't anticipating last year. But from what I've seen so far in 2022 with New England, I am not impressed. So that's where, if I'm looking somewhere besides Bateman and Andrews, obviously Dobbins is making his way back this week too. But hey, I think Duvernay has shown that he's been explosive. I know he had I believe a kickoff return for a touchdown last week. He had a touchdown in week 1. I mean, he's been doing a lot of different things, and I like the fact that he's producing however they're using him. So with that in mind, I'm still I'll ride Duvernay again this week, but the moment it stops, that's probably when I'll cut my ties, because that's one of those guys that it's appreciated when it happens, but it's not expected to maintain. And so also with the start sits, Ben, you had one for us too. It was Michael Carter, Damian Pierce, or Chase Edmonds. Is this for an RB2?
Yeah, this is actually, so I had Cam Akers as my RB2, but obviously I couldn't trust him, so I've been switching around. And I got Michael Carter, Damian Pierce, and Chase Edmonds. I was looking at it, and it's PPR. I feel like Damian Pierce is going to explode. I feel like this is going to be his breakout game. It's a perfect game to break out to. It's at Chicago. Like I said, Lovie Smith loves him. Yeah, he had 15 rushes for 69 yards, 1 target for 8 yards. And I just feel like that matchup is so juicy. I got to take advantage of that.
Courtney, what are your thoughts on that?
That's tough because I've been riding the Michael Carter train for the first 2 weeks, and he's been producing. He's been doing great. But I do like Damian Pierce this week too, and I actually have Damian Pierce playing, and I actually have him playing over Michael Carter in one of my leagues. So with that being said, I would go with what I've already done in my lineup would be Damian Pierce, but I really like Michael Carter too. So it's kind of a toss-up. But if it's your flex and those are what you're looking at flex, I think that's a pretty good choice on the flex. Yeah. So I'd roll with Damian Pierce just because I already have him in. So I got to go with what I got in.
Jamie, what about you? Edmonds, Carter, or Pierce?
Well, it's not going to be Edmonds. Definitely going Pierce this one. I think Breece Hall can get more involved. Pierce can fall into the end zone, so just play safe. Go Pierce.
See, I'm going with Michael Carter. For me, I like the Jets defense, and I'm looking at that defense where say they can force a turnover with that bad O-line of Cincinnati. They're already in the red zone. And then it's just a matter of which running back, might get that touchdown. That's where I'm eyeing Michael Carter. Or if the Jets are down, they're going to be utilizing the passing game even from the running backs, and that's where I see potential for Michael Carter in that slot as well. And then we also had one from Gerson in the chat. And also on Pierce, Tim Strobel saying Pierce smash week, so you guys aren't alone. And so Gerson was asking, Chase Edmonds or Allen Robinson?
Yeah, I'm going Robinson here. Just like I said, can't trust Edmonds yet.
I feel like that's unanimous.
Yeah, they're not using them as much as like they should. So Allen Robinson, higher upside.
Everyone agrees? No?
Yeah.
All right. I don't think we need to cover too much on that one. Yeah, I think for right now, we've already seen the Rams really – the workload is way too high on Cooper Kupp. They clearly need other guys there. And that's where, as much as I haven't been high on A-Rob throughout his career, at the same time, the way they're using Kupp, it's got to be distributed elsewhere as well, and that's where it makes sense with A-Rob. And with that in mind – we did have some bonus topics too. We're going to bounce into a couple of these real quick. So, Courtney, I know you had a couple of betting ones that I wanted to touch on first and foremost. Would you like to do your Pitts one or your Elijah Moore one?
I kind of already hit on both of them, but I mean, I do. Let's go with the Pitts. It was on 4.5 receptions, and we've been hearing it all week, right? Arthur Smith saying, that we're not playing fantasy football. We're trying to win football games. Well, then give Pitts the ball. He's literally one of the best players on your team, probably the best. The guy is huge. He's a huge target. Let Mariota throw it downfield to him. And 4.5, I know. What do we have? He's only had 20 yards in 2 games, but I think this is the week. And I'm have him in. I'm not taking him out. I'm riding the train. I have Pitts in way too many places. And 4.5 receptions. That's it. That's all we got to get. Let's go. I got money on it, so let's go.
You guys like that prop, Jamie, Ben?
Oh, yeah.
I made the exact same prop, to be honest with you. I even got Kyle Pitts in DFS, so yeah, I'm all about
so
that.
I'm also playing Pitts in
DFS. We're all in on Pitts this week. I like it. I mean, it's hard not to be. It's got to happen at some point. And then, Ben, you also had one for us. Would you like to do your Diggs or Hurts to start off with?
Yeah, I'll do the Diggs. So right now I'm going to take Stephon Diggs under 82.5 reception yards. He's going against Xavier Howard. And I actually had a conversation with Jamie before we got on the show. And if you look at Stephon Diggs, the last 5 times that he faced Miami, he only got 4 receptions for 49 yards. This one game, Xavier Howard did not play. He got 8 receptions for 153 yards. And then the rest is 56 yards, 60 yards, 40 yards. Like, Xavier Howard just knows how to shut him down. So I think I'm going to take the under. I feel like that's easy money. I think Gabe Davis is going to have a game too.
And Jamie, how do you feel about the under on Diggs?
I agree with that. Definitely take the under. I mean, he could go off for more if they move around the field, but I think Howard's going to shadow him.
Courtney?
Well, I think that Josh Allen might have a little bit of a hard time here. I mean, isn't his offensive line super banged up right now?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, you're going to not see that deep ball probably as much because he might be scrambling a little bit more. So that's a tough one for me. I think what was the number again? What was that? What was
82.5.
80. Yeah. That's like Vegas did a good job on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, it's like a coin flip, really. So I don't know. I'll be devil's advocate and go over just because it's Diggs, man.
I mean, with this one in mind, do you guys still anticipate it being a high-scoring affair, though, regardless of if it's to Diggs or if it's elsewhere?
I could definitely see it being at least over 50 points.
Okay. Okay. Hey, and that's
It
feeding
doesn't.
right
He can
into
still.
my parlay.
He can still get 60 yards for 3 touchdowns. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You just think it'll go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
No,
he's going to spread the
I
ball
like
more.
it. Okay. No, I'm a big Gabe Davis guy this week. You know,
Knox is in
as long
too.
as he's.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Knox as well. I mean, and they're using more of their running backs as well. So I mean, there's definitely plenty of ways they can just.
You froze.
I froze.
Zach,
Okay, well,
Yeah.
come back.
well, I'll go into mine. Well,
Yeah, JB.
so I want to do a tag. It's called Risk It for the Biscuit.
Ooh.
Nice.
So speaking on that, these are guys that are coming off injury that you want to put in your lineup. And like we just touched on, Dawson Knox is one of them. Put him in your lineup. Gabe Davis, another guy. Gabe Davis was limited all week with that ankle injury, but he is playing. Put him in your lineup. Hurst had that groin. He was limited on Wednesday, but he practiced full on Thursday. So if you're stuck with injury, tight end, say you have Dalton Schultz, put Hurts in your lineup. Now, this one I was a little on defense. Kamara, I'm looking at him as a low end, maybe wide receiver too. So it depends on who you have at the option, but he could go in and smash this week. And then once in a while, you'll get that biscuit and it's too hard, so you got to throw it away. So don't risk these players. J.K. Dobbins, I think it's too early for his injury. I'm going to wait till week 6 until he's a little bit full, healthy, gets incorporated in that offense a little more. Herbert, I just don't know what to think about him with that pain management. It's a 4:00 game, so I'm going to if I have someone at 1:00, I'm just putting him in over Herbert. I'm not risking that.
I got Mariota. Just to let
That's
you
a
know.
good one. Yep. James Conner scares me. I'm not sure about the usage. So if you have someone else that you can put in your lineup, do that. And then Schultz on Monday, you got to put someone in. I would just fill the spot today and just don't worry about Schultz.
I gotta say, I'm just sad. I'm so used to my big city internet being anywhere else, and not having good internet just throws me off at this point. Sorry about that. No, I like risking it, Jamie. I like being aggressive with those. So I agree with that. And I have real quick before we end the show, I wanted to share a little parlay action that I've got money on this week. It's a 6-leg parlay. The final odds are plus 509, but I tried to play it very safe, not aggressive in regards to what I need to happen. Obviously 6 legs is always a lot, but I took an alternate over for both the Bills and Dolphins and the Lions and Vikings, and in both games it's over 46.5, which they were both a few points higher than that. But I figured if it's 28-20 final, or if it's 38-10 or anything crazier, it's still going to hit. I wanted to play it safe. I like the offenses in both of those games. And then I also took Panthers plus 7.5 points. I think they can stay competitive against the Saints, but I don't know necessarily if they'll win.
Nope.
I figured they can keep it. Yeah, those Saints fan here. But do you anticipate that one being a close game at least?
Yeah.
And that's where.
But I think Kamara's going to go. Kamara's a great play. I know he's a risk it for you, but Jamie, he's a great play. He's going to come back. He's going to do well.
No, and I think that'll be a fun game. I just think it'll be close, and that's where taking the Panthers plus 7.5, they can lose by a touchdown, and I'll still hit. I took the Raiders plus 6.5. They're barely favorites, but I said, hey, even if they lose, as long as it's by less than a touchdown, I'm going to hit. And then I took the Eagles money line. They're favored there, but same thing. Wanted to be conservative with it. And then I also took the Ravens plus 5.5 at New England. I think while I see the Ravens winning fairly easily, I wanted to take very conservative picks, parlay them together. All the odds of each of those individually are minus 265 or worse. But when I parlay all 6 of them together, I'm at plus 509. So that way, it's conservative, but I have a chance at some good winnings as well. I'm not asking for some miracles to get some odds like that. Any thoughts on that parlay?
Yeah, I actually got the Eagles money line too. I just feel like it's a divisional game and it could be a very close game. So, like I said, and I even got the Jalen Hurts over 50.5 rushing. Also, I feel like that pocket is
Nice.
just closing so quick. So I feel like Jalen Hurts is going to have a day on the ground. So I would also take the over on that rushing 50.5.
No, I like it. I'm always nervous about some of the player props, but I think Hurts is going to have a good day. I mean, and it's hard to just not like the Eagles there. But I think that's all we got for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Or what's up?
One more thing, man. I just wanted to tell everybody, don't expect a lot from McLaurin. He's going to be going against Darius Slay against that Eagles defense. So someone in the beginning of the week said play all your Commanders and with Slay on him, man. I just don't see him doing that good.
Hey, man, that was primetime Kirk Cousins. This is 1 o'clock Kirk Cousins, baby. It's different.
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
My husband just came in and asked me, he said he wants to sit one in his full PPR league. Sutton, Samuels, Michael Thomas, or AJ Dillon. What you guys got?
Ooh.
Wait, say that again.
Sutton, who?
So he has to sit one, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And he has
Yeah.
Sutton, Curtis Samuel, AJ Dillon, and Michael Thomas. He just came in and was like,
okay.
ask the question.
Curtis
Sit
Samuel.
one.
I would sit Thomas. He's going against JC Horn this week. He should be shadowed by him. Then I also think Olave is going to have a huge smash game. So I would sit Thomas out of all those.
All right.
I would sit Samuel. That would be my pick there. Also, we have one more question.
Easy.
Brady or Cousins?
Cousins
And
all the
that's
way.
Cousins.
Cousins.
All right.
I have no faith in Brady right now.
So I'm actually
Cousins.
I'm sitting Brady for Jared Goff, and I would probably start Cousins over Goff. I'm also definitely Cousins.
And we got this one as well. Pick one for my flex full PPR. Zeke, J-Rob, Thielen, or Lockett. If you're picking one, I got to go with, initial instinct would be J-Rob.
J-Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it bad that none of us want Zeke?
I mean, I've been there for a year and a half. I'm just glad people are joining the party.
Oh, man. I actually, with Herbert out, I actually think that he's not technically out yet, but I can't imagine them playing him a lot, even if he does play. Or if he does play, I think that it's going to be rough. So I'm actually playing Jimmy Garoppolo over Herbert today, which is kind of like, but what are you going to do? Right. But I think the Jaguars actually have a really good chance of staying in this game and having a good game. So I could see J-Rob going off, James Robinson going off. I really could. I actually picked the Jaguars, and I got the pro pick'ems. I do like 10 of them, and I picked the Jaguars across in a couple, just for the fun of it, right?
So that's all we've got for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you, Zach.
Find Jamie. Thank you, Courtney. You can find Jamie on Twitter at Jamie Perog. You can find Ben on Twitter at Dr. F Goods PPR, and I believe that's also your handle on TikTok, correct?
Yep. Come follow me on Twitter, TikTok. Have some fun. We do some gags. Do everything, man. It's fun.
And then, of course, you can find the lovely Courtney and all her Ole Miss stuff on Twitter at LoveTractor3. I'm still waiting for that Matt Corral debut. I know.
Look, he's on IR. You wait till next year. Okay?
I know.
Wait till next year.
You
Okay?
Eli Manning fan? Fan?
I'm a Manning fan through and through, okay? I'm from Ole Miss, so, my Archie's in my blood. Mannings are in my blood. I actually was in school with Eli when he was there, so I got to see Eli in all of his glory at all the games. It was a lot of fun.
I actually have a friend that doesn't have an NFL team. His NFL team was Peyton Manning. So if you ask him, what's your NFL team? Peyton Manning. He
I'm the same way.
Peyton Manning shirts. It's
Dude,
crazy.
the Mannings,
It's
it's the Mannings, right? Wait till we see Arch play at the University of Texas.
I'm excited about that.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
I think we know which ESPN broadcast Courtney watches for the
Oh my
Monday
God,
Night Football.
I love the Manning night. It's the best. Thanks, you guys. This was awesome.
Thank you for joining us. Thanks again, everyone. We'll see you guys again next week. And take care. Good luck in week 3.
Good luck.